The world knows her face. We have given her a name, the Mona Lisa. People travel across oceans and stand in long, slow-moving lines just to catch a glimpse of her. They speak in hushed tones about that famous knowing smile. But the true mystery, the deep and abiding secret, is not in her mouth. It is locked away inside her eyes. When you stand before the painting and allow your own gaze to settle, something remarkable happens. Her eyes seem to watch you, to follow you. They feel alive, as if a living, breathing mind is looking out from behind the canvas. How did the master, Leonardo, achieve such a thing? How did he pour life into paint and make an eye feel like a conscious soul, a mind gazing back at you from across 5 centuries? The answer is not a single, simple trick. It is not a formula that can be easily copied. It is a way of seeing. It is the work of a quiet and deliberate mind, one that observed the world with an almost scientific precision, yet rendered it with the soul of a poet. To understand his method is to understand how the mind truly sees. It is more than just a technique for painters. It is a way of perceiving the world, a philosophy captured in pigment. Imagine drawing a perfect dark circle on white paper. Your eye sees it immediately. It is a circle. The boundary is absolute. Your brain registers it, categorizes it, and moves on. There is no mystery. Now, imagine smudging that circle's edge. Blur it. The black fades into the white through an imperceptible gradient. Suddenly, your eye must do more work. Where does the circle truly end? Where does the background begin? That moment of hesitation, that is the magic. The shape gains depth. It seems to recede, to live in a space beyond the flat surface of the paper. This gentle, blurred edge is the very heart of his silent method. He gave it a name, Sfumato. The word itself, Sfumato, is Italian. It means gone up in smoke or evaporated. It is the art of the blur, the magic of the soft edge, of forms melting into one another without harsh lines or borders. Before Leonardo, the dominant style of the Renaissance, the Quattrocento, celebrated clarity and line. Artists defined their subjects with crisp, decisive outlines. It was beautiful, but it was a statement. Sfumato was a question. Leonardo observed that in nature, lines don't really exist. When you look at a distant mountain, its edges are not sharp and clear. They are softened by the haze of the atmosphere. When you look at a face in the dim light of a candle, the shadows do not have hard borders. They melt into one another, creating a continuous flowing surface. This is how we actually see. Hard, crisp lines tell the eye exactly what to see. They create a boundary, a definition that is certain and finite. But a blurred edge does something entirely different. It makes the eye and the mind behind it work. It invites participation. Your brain is forced to fill in the missing information, to complete the shape, to resolve the ambiguity. It must search for the edge that isn't there. This small, subtle act of participation is what makes a painted eye feel deep and alive. It's what transforms a painted mouth from a static line into a fleeting thought. The Mona Lisa's smile seems to change as you look, because its edges aren't defined. The corners of her mouth and eyes are lost in soft shadow. Your brain can't lock it into one expression, one moment happy, the next melancholic. The painting is not showing you a smile, it is making you the possibility of one. To achieve this, Leonardo applied paint in dozens of incredibly thin layers, like veils of colored smoke. These glazes were nearly transparent, some as thin as a few microns. He built them up over weeks, months, even years, using his fingers as often as a brush to smudge and soften the transitions. Light doesn't just bounce off the surface, it penetrates these layers and reflects from within, giving the skin a luminous, almost living glow. Sfumato makes the solid seem ethereal, the stills seem to move, the illusion of a three-dimensional soul captured on a two-dimensional plane. He painted the air around objects. He painted the space between things. He understood that what we don't see, what is left uncertain, is just as important as what we do. Gone up in smoke. Now think about the world we inhabit today, in this year of 2026. It is a world of noise, a relentless, overwhelming symphony of distraction. We are surrounded by bright, flashing screens, loud, demanding images that fragment our attention into 1,000 tiny pieces. Our eyes are trained to move fast, to swipe, to skip, to scan. We are conditioned to consume, not to contemplate. We live in a torrent of information, a constant digital deluge. Our survival mode is shallow looking. We see the surface, the headline, the immediate impression, but we rarely pause long enough to truly understand. Leonardo did the exact opposite. In an age far quieter than our own, he still sought to create an even deeper silence. He cultivated a profound stillness, an intentional emptiness. He would hold his gaze, waiting with infinite patience, allowing details to appear slowly, like stars emerging one by one in a twilight sky. He understood that the most profound truths do not shout, they whisper. And to hear them, you must be quiet. This is the vacuum effect. It is the practice of pulling noise and distraction away from a single point of focus. It's not about emptying the mind, but rather clearing a space within it. In that silence, your senses sharpen. You can hear your own breathing, the subtle rhythm of your own heart. You can see the tiniest details, the textures and imperfections that tell the real story. This is the vacuum. Sensory quiet frees the mind from overwhelm, allowing it to move from a state of reaction to a state of reception. When edges are soft, as with Sfumato, the mind leans in. It is not given a simple answer. It searches for the boundary, and in that search, it finds more than a quick glance could ever offer. He sat for hours watching a river, not just seeing water, but observing the intricate dance of currents, the swirling patterns of eddies, the fleeting play of reflections. He followed a person through the streets of Florence, not as a spy, but as a student of humanity. He studied the way they walked, the unconscious rhythm of their gait, the way their clothes moved around the body, hinting at the form beneath. He created a mental vacuum, focusing on a small set of details with such intensity that the rest of the world simply faded away. That is the fundamental difference between looking and seeing. Looking is passive. It is the simple act of light hitting the retina. It is automatic, effortless, and shallow. Seeing is active, conscious, and deeply engaged. It is an act of will, a decision to pay attention. Leonardo did not just watch surfaces. He was obsessed with understanding how things worked from the inside out. He studied anatomy, not just to draw better figures, but to comprehend the very mechanics of life. He understood the precise arrangement of facial muscles that created a smile. He knew which nerves fired, which tissues contracted. He saw the truth and structure that existed just beneath the appearance. A quick glance sees a hand. Deep observation sees the architecture of the bones beneath the skin. It sees the way the wrist turns, the tension in the knuckles, the delicate texture of the skin, the light on a fingernail, and the small, silent history of its scars. He saw the underlying forms, the geometric and anatomical principles that create the visible world. This is a skill that goes far beyond art. It is the foundation of scientific inquiry, of empathy, of wisdom. When we only glance, we see stereotypes and labels, the angry man, the sad woman. But with deep observation, we create a vacuum around that first impression. We see the flicker beneath the surface, the fear hidden under anger, the resilience within sadness, the question behind a confident smile. We see the human being. So how can we, in our modern, hurried lives, begin to practice this silent method of deep observation? The answer is simpler than you might think. We do not need a dusty studio or years of formal training, only a willingness to pause and truly see. The first step is to reclaim a few moments of quiet, to create your own small vacuum. This isn't just an absence of noise, but a deliberate space carved out for your attention to expand, a sanctuary from the constant stream of information. It is in this quiet that the real work can begin. Choose one small, ordinary thing: a key, a leaf from the garden, the cup on your desk. Set a timer for 5 minutes. For those 5 minutes, your only task is to look. Do not name it. Resisting the label forces your brain to abandon shortcuts and engage with the raw data of sight. Simply watch as shapes, lines, and shades reveal themselves. Notice the precise edge where light meets shadow. Watch the light move across its surface. After 5 minutes, make a small record, a single continuous line. Do not lift your pen. This isn't about artistic skill. It's about translating your focused gaze into a physical memory, a tactile connection to what you observed. Wait, return later and add one small area of blurred tone. See how this simple addition of value changes the entire image, giving it weight and dimension. Leonardo collected thousands of such observations. We can call this practice the curiosity matrix, a simple personal method for gathering and connecting small truths. The process is always the same. Look, record, wait. Each note is a node, a single point of data. Over time, each note connects with others. Unexpected patterns begin to emerge from the collection. You start to see the universal principles hidden within the smallest details, the spiral in a shell echoing the swirl of a galaxy. This is how we build a richer, more interconnected understanding of the world. The only thing it asks of you is your quiet curiosity.